the NWF Champion Ace.
Pitts has called the match. For some strange reason, he's giving the victory to Kid Kelsey.
Mr. X declared the new champion.
The new champion, Mr. X.
He's won the title back. Get it back. Bring the brown. Don't you cross me, your new champion.
Hello, NWF fans, and welcome back to another episode of NWF Fast Forward live on YouTube and on Wrestling Revolution with Keaton's channel. Of course, I am your main host, the longest reigning NIPW Junior Heavyweight Champion of all time. I am a part of this tag team, a once undefeated tag team, an unbeatable tag team that had to get robbed to win, and I am, of course, joined by my co-host, and I know he's a struggle to put up with for most people, especially the people at the nursing home, but he is indeed Schmucker Crossen.
I was this, I was that, and you know what you were? You were 5-0. Want to explain to everybody what happened on the last show?
I'll explain to everyone. You know what? I am more than happy to explain what happened to everyone. All right, listen here, people. You know the Canary Kid as your main host. I'm not a liar. I tell the truth and nothing but the truth. All right? What happened last show was a farce, a robbery, and a disgrace to pro wrestling. What happened was, it's a fighting pro wrestling. I get there's rules, and I followed those rules. And what? I'm a bad guy because I kicked Ben Nelson in a part where I knew he was weak in his knee. And even my own tag partner gives me shtick. I don't get it. It's pro wrestling. If there was a rule in the book that says don't attack injuries, then I wouldn't do it. But don't come into a match with an injury if you don't expect me to capitalize on it.
Well, how'd that work out for you? How'd that capitalization work out for you when you did that?
What happened was my tag partner, and we need to talk about that. Me and John, we need to meet up and talk about that because I wasn't right of him at all. I was completely right. But what happened was...
Wait a minute, wasn't right of him? What about you?
I'm trying to get to the story that these people want to know. And you asked me a question. Maybe your Alzheimer's or dementia is kicking in. You're forgetting you asked me that question. But anyway, as I was saying, John McCann rudely starts distracting me, complaining about not attacking someone's knee out of respect or something. I have respect, but I also respect the rules of wrestling. But anyway, he tags himself in, keeps giving me all that bark, and what happened? He got pinned.
Yes, he did. But what I want to know is the love affair over now? I mean, you were so respectful, you and Ben, with each other, and all of a sudden, there's kind of a little push and shove going on at the end there with Ben.
You know, Crusher, in all seriousness, I'm going to pull up the curtain here. For the majority of this podcast, I'm not going to mention Ben Nelson. We're going to focus on after smalls and stuff like that in San Antonio style wrestling. I feel like Ben Nelson and me have to sort of say between us personally, but right now I'm not up for talking about Ben Nelson to the public. So let's move on from that.
Well, we're going to talk about Ben Nelson. You may not want to hear it because I have to remind everybody that the Canary Kid and Ben Nelson, as you know, will be fighting for the NWF Championship. And that's coming up June 1st in Malone. And the Canary Kid versus Ben Nelson. And that's going to be quite interesting match. The first time this belt's going to be fought for nearly 4 decades. And it will be somebody's going to get it. Either you or Ben are going to have this thing after June 1st, and we'll see what happens there.
Yep.
Now, my question to you is, if you get it, are you going to be a fighting champion or are you going to be a ducking champion?
Well,
if
I'm
you
sure.
happen to win, that is, which is big. That's a big if, but I'm just saying,
Yes, of course, I understand. Big if. Anyway, when I win the NWF Heavyweight Championship, I'll tell you exactly what kind of sort of champion I'm going to be. The same champion I was with the Junior Heavyweight Championship, the longest reigning. I'm going to be unbeatable. No one on this earth will take that championship from me.
Excuse me, did I just hear that right? The longest reigning?
Yeah. I'll hold it for.
You realize how
however
long I
need to.
held that thing?
Do you remember yourself? I know you have a bad memory for these things.
Over a year. So we'll see. And then you got
Over a
people
year?
like Officer Smalls. Now, what if you go against somebody that you can't handle? That's my question.
What if I go up against somebody I can't handle? If there was somebody on this earth I couldn't handle, then I'd hang up my boots tomorrow. Because I'll tell you right now, there is nobody that the OGBIRD, the Canary Kid, the face of NWF Fast Forward, cannot handle.
So guys,
I'm the one people cannot handle. I'm too hot to handle. I'm too cold to hold, and I'm unbeatable, and I will be the NWF World Champion by June 2nd. I'll tell you that now. By the end of June 1st, I will be the champion.
Yeah, and his mouth likes to run like the Mississippi River.
And my mouth, like Ben Nelson, has to be on June 1st for sure.
So now, we've got a comment here. Josh Gilmore says, evening. And then he says he's rooting for Ben Nelson. He's very, very humble. Sorry, Canary. So,
well, pardon my language. Ben Nelson's a bitch. That's what I think of Ben Nelson. I get that comment away.
Whoa.
No, I'll say it. You want to talk about Ben Nelson? Let me tell you about Ben Nelson, all right? Let me break the fourth wall for a second. Ben Nelson is a guy who I saw walk in on his first day as a timid, shy young man, afraid to speak to anyone. I took time out of my own training time to talk to Ben Nelson, to break him into that first session. I am the reason Ben Nelson's as confident as he is today, and he runs around calling himself a model and thinking he's all this and that. No. Ben Nelson only thinks it's because of me. Alright? You think he's humble? He's putting up a facade, and you're dumb enough to believe it. When you see him behind the curtain, all he does is talk about himself. He doesn't care about Dead Gorgeous. He thinks Dead Gorgeous is him. He doesn't care about Jordan Nelson. He didn't care about me, and he doesn't care about these people. Alright? And I'm going to speak on Ben Nelson very soon, and a statement will be publicly issued really soon.
Well,
but right now, I have a championship match coming up next month in Malone against Paolo Triassi for the Commonwealth Championship. So I'm focusing on that. Ben Nelson can wait. I have more important things to worry about right now than Ben Nelson.
Well, we have a guest to get in here. Today we have a very good guest. His name is Officer Smalls. But just let me tell you this. All that fire and spit and vinegar that you just threw out there. Remember, I'm the referee in that match. And if you think for 1 minute you're going to run over me or anybody else in that ring and try to bend or break any rules, not with me in there in that zebra shirt. So you just remember this. You have all that fire and spit and desire, but you better be playing by the rules of that championship match. I'm just saying that.
All I do is play by the rules, and you can be there in your black and white shirt the same way television was back in your time. All right? But I'll tell you what, the only bending that'll go on is when I bend Ben Nelson over and give him the spanking of a lifetime and take that championship.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It'll be a good match, I will say that. And I know you want that belt just as badly as he does, so we'll see what happens when we get to that point. But let's get our guest in here because he's been waiting in the wings, listening to you run your mouth. I think we need to get Officer Smalls in here, and let's hear from Smalls. So let's bring him in, everybody. Everybody's waiting. So we'll get Officer Smalls. I got to make sure I'm on the right screen. There we go. And there he is, San Antonio, Officer Smalls. Welcome in.
Welcome.
So you heard Canary running his mouth. Now, Smiles, you told me in a comment recently that you think Canary likes to run his mouth and talk a lot of smack.
He doesn't shut up.
You know, for such a little guy, you talk a big game. I must say that. But I think I actually have a couple questions for Officer Small. So let's get straight into the questions. What sort of officer are you? What's your credentials? What's your badge number?
It's
need to know those
wrestling, bud. It's called wrestling for a reason.
Oh, so you're impersonating a police officer. So you're breaking the law. How ironic.
Yeah, I came out to that music actually, so.
Yeah, Breaking the Law was his original ring music. That's true.
You know, it's
But,
an actual disgrace
well-
that some people will do that.
But
Is that
you-
what America's come to?
But you don't know because you don't live here.
Gladly. Because I don't
It
want to
was
be in a
better
country where
last
people-
time when he wasn't on here.
I make this show better, buddy. I'm the reason the views are up, and I'm the reason now people are going to be paying attention to Officer Smalls. All right?
I believe
So-
you said you were going to get a sore neck looking down at Smiles today. Wasn't that
Yep.
you?
Luckily, what I've done is I have lowered my seat here. Usually I put a couple pillows up to make it a bit level, but no, I've actually lowered it a bit, so now we're on a similar level a little bit.
Is that what took you forever to come in here? That's why we're late, guys, because Canary took his sweet time coming in here.
I took my sweet time because I have things to do. I have better things to do than to talk to an impersonating police officer. All right?
Cool.
I
You
live a
get
civil life.
You get out then.
Canary, you're not making many friends.
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make a name for myself, and I've already done that. So now I'm trying to make people like Officer Smalls get a name for himself, and sometimes they're just not too grateful about that. But don't worry, they'll conform.
Well, I have a question now, Smalls. You got all those medals hanging up back there, and
Mhm.
as we were talking, what was it? Ninja Warrior? How does it go again?
Yeah, American Ninja Warrior and parkour.
And parkour. So you actually did that prior to the wrestling, right?
Yes, I did
And-
that for 4 years.
Wow. So that's a lot, and that takes a lot of endurance and physical training
Yes.
and everything, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. And you got quite a few medals. Are all those medals from that?
Yes. So there's only one from American Ninja Warrior, but the rest are from parkour. I did events in Austin, Houston. I went to El Paso one time for a parkour thing. A bunch of events up in Texas down here. There's a lot of events for that stuff.
So now, I think, Ricky, didn't we have somebody else that did parkour as well that we had as a guest recently? Who was it? There's somebody else, I thought.
I'm trying to think of all our guests.
But anyways, my point is that I guess the question is this. You think that helps in the
Oh,
wrestling?
100%, 100%. The first day summer camp, my coaches, they were just blown away from my athletic ability.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Because it's so physically enduring, and
Yeah.
for conditioning
all
and
the-
everything.
All the luchador stuff, Sean Hernandez teaches me. That helped. Parkour helped that a lot. So all the walk the rope stuff you'll see later on, that helped it a bunch. I learned most of my stuff in kids camp, and then some of these like dives to the outside and that. I actually did a dive while I was in kids camp on one of the kids shows.
Well, it's obviously, with kids wrestling, that's a big interest for NWF with its history. But
Yeah.
is there any, how's the kids classes going right now? I know you're not in it, but are there kids coming through it and everything?
It's only summer training. There's
So they
only
don't do it all
summer-
year round? It's just in the
Yeah,
summer?
not all year round.
Okay.
So the first time we did it in like a mall, and then that kind of got set back where now we're in a new place, way better place. So we have some kids, like there was one that trolled Hillbilly on his last podcast. Just a bunch of these kids like me and Canary. Just it helps a lot. You don't really have to take bumps. You just do the moves. But you can trust these guys. This guy's been doing this 20 years. This guy's done it 25 on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And this last summer camp, I was actually the coach. So that
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. And Canary does the same. Like he's a junior trainer with their training too. So it's like, that's kind of good that you guys can get involved with that. Yeah.
We would, I would go to the training with my Eric Perez, Joey Spector, his ring name. We would drive there, so I would just get knowledge from him driving there. I would help coach it, all of this. Then I would go to Hernandez, his house, for about until the adult training. And then we would work out 100 burpees, 200 burpees sometimes, 100 squats, 100 pull-ups, all at the same time, 20 minutes. That helped me a lot. And then we would go back to adult trainings and do that for 3 days every week, the whole summer.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of physical endurance there and conditioning.
Yes.
Obviously,
So
with your coaching, just so I can, sorry to intrude on you, schmuck.
no,
but,
that's fine. You can always butt in.
But
I'll
yeah,
allow
on
it.
the coaching side of things, from your experience in coaching, do you have anything that just really makes you love coaching? Like, is there a favorite aspect for you?
So parkour, like we were talking about earlier, I actually used to help coach parkour during their summer camps. So I would help coach that. So once we did these kid camps, I was like, okay, I know how to talk to kids already. I knew how to coach. It's just this is a new thing. I'm only a year and a half in now. So, but it was kind of easy because of the parkour. I love coaching. But yeah, coaching's fun.
Yeah.
Just not taking the bumps.
Makes life a lot easier when you can get someone else to do it for you.
Yes.
I know that Ricky said that he always gets disappointed when he sees kids not follow through or maybe leave training after when they they have maybe they could do more, but they just take a break or whatever. Do you ever see that with have you ever seen kids that you thought, man, these kids got it, but then they don't seem to come through or follow through?
So I've seen in parkour, I see that all the time. That happened to me. But wrestling, Hillbilly, he was on here a little while ago. A month after he left, that kind of threw everyone off. It was personal reasons. But when he first started, not gonna lie, everyone thought, oh, he's not gonna do well in this. But then he started doing really good. And then he was at a point where the crowd would love him when he came out.
Was that
And
just because of his
his gimmick? Yes, it works perfect for
Well, no,
Texas.
his gimmick is good, but I'm saying people when you said people didn't think he's going to make it, is it because of his autistic stuff and that? Is that what it was that they thought?
That and everything he couldn't understand, and then he would he only knew stuff as a fan. Like when you're talking over a match with him, it was like you're talking to a fan. But then later on, he actually understood stuff. And then there's a tag match that should get shown later.
Yeah.
That was his best match.
It was with you.
Yes.
And we're going to see that. We got 30 minutes of watch long, which we're going to jump into here. But and also there's a match, I believe, with you and Perez, right? As well.
Yeah, me and Joey Spector and me and Sean Hernandez singles match.
Right. So yeah, that'll be kind of neat to see. And then we'll see Smalls in action a little bit. And I from what of course I have to screen all this stuff when I get it ready. Mm-hmm. And I will say this, we'll see it when we watch it, but I can see in your later matches, you've come a long way from when you were just already pretty good. I can see the change that's taken place. You're doing a lot of, well, you'll see everybody when we get to the watch along, but, this is an interesting comment from Gilmore. After that little bit of banter with you guys, I could see a Canary versus Smalls in the pipeline. The thing is this, Gilmore, whoever gets that NWF belt, now I don't know if it's going to be Canary. It may just be Ben Nelson. Mitch the Kid could wind up getting it at some point over there. But whoever it is, I will advocate with Hernandez. I will do what I can to get that, whoever has that belt at some point over, hopefully, to go against either Officer Smalls or Carter, somebody, and let's see what happens. Here's the thing, guys, on a serious note. What's cool about that? You guys are trained professionally with different trainers, and it's really good for all of you to be able to intermingle and see what's it like to work against somebody else that was trained differently. That's just good stuff. Mm-hmm. So that would be good in of itself,
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and for me personally, obviously, from the moment I started, keeping up with the podcast, fast forward, and becoming a host, I obviously took some time to keep up with the people who have been on it, and obviously Smalls was one of the more notable, one of the more successful podcast guests we've had, and one of the most successful podcasts in general that we've had. It's been really good, and that's why I'm can't wait to see the views on this one. But the point I'm making is I've been keeping up with Smalls for a couple months now, and even me personally, like I'm noticing the small things, like Schmucker said, like you're seeing little things from, even though it's only been a couple months of me keeping up with Smalls, it's been from then to now. I'm noticing like the little things. He's getting like so confident with his crowd involvement, and he always was. But it's like I recently saw a video, and I don't know if it's going to be shown. I really hope it is somehow, of him doing YMCA in a bar. And
Oh,
the involvement was amazing. There was a tiny bit of Juggalo vibes, but apart from that, it was amazing.
It was.
I loved it.
I know what you're
And
talking about.
that kind of
Let me-
thing is perfect, and that's what makes me personally, all jokes aside, really want to push for a match with Off Their Smalls, which is another reason why I'm going to cave Ben Nelson's skull in when I get the chance.
that's funny. So I was doing that entrance. This guy is right in front of me. In my head, the adrenaline was kicking in already, and I was in the middle, all these people right here. I'm trying to walk to the other side. This guy's taking forever to walk, so I'm just shoving him like this until he gets out of my way. And then I just went straight back to the audience. It was funny.
I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that in the video. It looked like you were starting a little bit of a conga line going. Guy was holding his beer.
No, they were just in the way, and then I was just pushing him out of the way. And then it's funny, like tonight we're going to that same place. Voodoo Ranger helps with that bar. They sponsor them. So that guy was he was like one of the guys for merch. So
Oh,
I didn't know that at the time. So I was just shoving this guy I didn't know. I was like, just get out of my way. So I'm just whistling. I have the whistle in my mouth, just pushing him. It was
complete
funny.
traffic warden.
You know, you meant. I do want to say this. I'm going to give you a little constructive criticism on the whistle. Here's the thing with the whistling. When you're a heel, okay, naturally a whistle is annoying, right? Like there's an old saying, that's an outside whistle, right? It's a naturally annoying thing. So when you're a heel, blow it all the time. But when you're the face, I would limit it a little bit. I wouldn't like try to do the whistle to every lyric of the song. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I would just, do a little bit of it to kind of establish it, but I wouldn't keep blowing it because that kind of counters your baby face style. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying when you're a baby face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes, I understand.
That's a little thing, but Canary picks up on little things, and I do too sometimes.
I know when you're talking heel, my first match ever, it was so we get out there right when they hear the whistle. It's Kill the Kid chants.
Yeah.
The whole match is it's a 6. So it's me and 2 other guys versus Hernandez and another guy. So 2 against 2.5.
Right.
So they're just chanting Kill the Kid the entire time. And then later on, Hernandez throws me to the outside. They're chanting CPS. They're going CPS, CPS, and Hernandez is like, shh. No. That was funny. First match, that was so funny.
But no, I mean that's small time constructive criticism,
Yeah.
But that's one thing I did pick up on was the whistle. But I noticed too. Then I'm listening. I'm like, why does I keep hearing the whistle and I don't see it in your mouth? I noticed the crowd has got whistles and they get into it now with their own whistles. So yeah, I see that now.
So maybe that gives the idea that the whistle isn't so annoying to the crowd, especially when it's in a bar and everyone's drunk. They're just trying to be obnoxious in their own right,
So it gets annoying when you look on your phone. Like I look back on the camera, I hear the whistles while I'm doing stuff. I'm like, God, this is annoying. Is this how people feel?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Because I mean, it's not you. It's not you. It's just a whistle in general. Can be.
Yeah. Critiques.
Right. It's just, but that's nothing. We don't need to dwell on that. Let's get into this watch along and start watching some of this footage, and then we can keep talking. So, go into our watch along screen here. There we go.
Wow.
Now this is Perez. This is your other trainer.
Yes.
Yep.
Joey Spector, yeah.
Spector.
So this match, it was a 2-show. So the first day, Jerry Lawler was signing autographs and that. This is the second day. He did the same thing. So where I'm selling over, actually no. So to the left of the ring, it's Jerry Lawler's over there, and he's just I don't know if he was looking at the match, but after the show he went like he said something to me like, "Hey, good job," and then first he wanted to see me because he was about to leave out of his car, but then he saw me through the window. He wanted to see me and congratulate me and shook my hand. That was cool.
Well, that's awesome. And
That's
Lawler,
awesome.
Lawler wasn't a big guy, so I'm sure he looks at you,
Yeah,
and he's rooting for you because Lawler was a small guy back in the day, compared to everybody else. Right?
It was funny. He said, "Hey, do your parents know about this?" And then my coach's fiance, she points at my parents. She says, "Yeah, they're right over there." That was funny.
Do your parents know about this? Like, no. That is
I mean, hey, when he probably started doing this.
So would you say this was Hillbilly's last match?
No. Hillbilly's last match, December, but his last singles match was against me at that student show the same day as the podcast he did.
Okay.
Mm.
But, he might come back. As I'd like to remind everybody, Sub Force Arnie took a break, and he is now wrestling again. So, you never know when they're going to come back. So,
Is that a guy in wrestling gear recording this?
Oh,
it looks
yeah.
like it is.
Yeah, that's he actually is the owner of AWR, the show I wrestled for.
Oh, okay.
So he wrestled before, and we needed someone to record, and he's one of the guys we trust. So
So he didn't even have time to get out of his gear. He just grab the camera, get out there, and start recording, huh?
he's actually from here, Lockhart, Texas. He's from here, so everyone knew who he was. He is a heel, but it's like the crowd didn't care. That's just funny though, looking back at that.
Was this one of the first matches you went babyface then for a while?
No, wait. Yeah, one of. Actually, the show before, I was also face. This is kind of when they started pushing me as a face.
I was going to mention her. I like the way when you did the rocker spot and you had the wrist lock on. I really appreciate not doing the.
Okay, just trying to show you something.
Sorry, 2 seconds, guys. Intruders. Anyway,
That sounds like your little brother.
yeah. Not getting the hint. Anyway, I was saying when you had the wrist lock on, I like the way you didn't do the generic, and I see it with a lot, especially like it's more North American wrestlers, having the wrist lock on just like this. I like the way you had the bend in the wrist. It's a more legit hold because Shawn Michaels, amazing, but that was his wrist lock. He just held it like that. And so I love it when I see North American wrestlers have that pressure on the wrist. Like the European kind of style, I really appreciate that. That's really cool.
Yeah, the only thing I say I messed up, I should have just kept the hold and let him tag my back, but instead I let him high five because we get told to keep the hold on. In the moment, I was like, oh, just tag. But other than that, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
So now that you've done babyface and heel, what do you like more?
Depends where I'm at. If I'm in Houston, babyface all day. They will cuss. They're a hardcore crowd. But here it depends. Like some bar crowds, like I haven't been to it like yet where they don't want to cheer me. But some of them, like with Hillbilly, they wouldn't cheer him at all. Because the type of area we were at, they didn't like his gimmick.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did he handle that?
He was still face. It's just.
No, I mean, how did he handle it? Like, was he able to work with that when he wasn't getting the cheers?
Yeah, so he was it's not like he tried to go heel during that moment. He just still did his gimmick and it worked after a while cuz the heels did their thing and made the crowd boo them.
Right. Because I know it can mess with you psychology wise if you're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a really funny story of I remember Jordan was telling me about this when all the guys went to Portugal. It was Dead Gorgeous versus another tag team, and Dead Gorgeous were meant to be the baby faces.
Pure filth, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't Pure Filth.
Because
But
I
Dead
thought
Gorgeous.
it was Crooks and Sage, I thought.
It wasn't. It was Brandon Jenkins and Halfdan. But Dead Gorgeous walked out first, and they were meant to be the good guys, and they walk out, and the Portuguese crowd, which are a very hot crowd naturally, hated them, like despised them, calling them everything. So they just kind of had to work with it and try and flip it into being heels,
Yep.
and
exactly.
it's a disaster having to do that. I've been lucky where I haven't had a brutal moment. Like I've had a crowd be dead at times, and I'm like, oh god, this feels awkward. But I've never
Yeah.
had a crowd give me the wrong reaction, which I'm very happy about. Actually, no, I'm wrong. The last show, I kicked out Ben's knee, and Keaton started cheering. No one else cheered. I got booed out of the building, but Keaton and his daughter in the front going, yeah! And I'm like,
Wow, that's just Keaton. Keaton's your little puppet right now for some reason.
Keaton just knows talent.
Ah,
That's how I see it. Oh, the cutter!
Oh yeah, as a heel, when people try to cheer me, like as soon as I get out there, they want to cheer me, but then I cut them down. Like there was one show, I came out, I
you
came out.
stand and flex on him, huh?
Oh yes, yeah. The first show there was one show where I was like, know what? I don't care. I'm not trying to have people cheer me off the bat. Unlike this, I had my hands like this. I was flipping everyone off. That was that was funny. Oh,
It's the simple stuff to get that heat.
yeah.
I remember Jesse Ventura one time in a tag match. It was back in the old school days. These matches went a long way. So there was these long matches, rest holds, and everybody started chanting, Jesse sucks. And Jesse's just on the corner, not tagged in. And he starts looking around, reacting, and they get louder and louder, and then he just does this to him. To the crowd. Basically flips him off. Now okay, that's Hernandez and
The guy who was just in his trunks earlier recording.
okay.
Yeah, this is like the third time. Tonight will be the fourth time I've done YMCA.
Just gonna be associated with you.
Yeah. Hopefully no one's
YMCA,
in my way this time.
Is this in the training place?
Yes, school show.
Okay.
In that moment, I just decided to hit him. That wasn't planned, but well, we were in the back. That hurt.
Yeah,
I
I
could
could-
imagine. Jeez.
yeah, you landed on the concrete. It's gonna
No,
feel that.
the week after that, I don't even think it was from the drop kick. The week after that, my knee is all bruised up and everything on the side.
I know the side. I seen how you landed. I know
That
exactly.
wasn't my idea to throw the drop kick, by the way. That was Hernandez. He said, "Oh, you need to hit me with a drop kick or something on the outside." I was like, "Okay."
Also, what you're saying about getting that shot in and it wasn't planned, I can relate. I know where you're coming from. When you get the opportunity to get that shot in on your coach, you're going to take it sometimes. Like,
Oh, I do that all the time. Yeah.
I remember in my last match there with Nathan, my coach, and we had this idea where I was having him in like a knee bar heel hook kind of thing, and he was gonna forearm, 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 and then eventually turn it. And so he hit me one forearm, but I was like, that kind of hurt. And I was like, all right. He gets up again, another forearm. I'm like, all right, my jaw's in a lot of pain right now. He gets up, and he told me he'd hit me 3. He just starts laying in all these forearms to my jaw, and he lies back down because I put the pressure belt on, And he had a singlet on, which he never wears. And I go, you know what, screw it. Grabbed the singlet, pulled him up, and just slapped right across his face. I was like, he's going to kill me. And I got backstage. He was like, that was great. That was great. And I was like, all right, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But I see you got some padding on there, a little bit at least there.
Yeah, that padding, it's not like the greatest, but it's all right.
But, you know,
No,
doing things that you don't expect on concrete. You know, when I did this strap match with Steve, he decided to body slam me on concrete and not tell me about it. And that was kind of a wake up.
Yeah,
But, you know, and we didn't have any padding at all. That was just freaking concrete. But I don't know. I mean, that's not like wrestling mat pad back out there either. That I don't know if that's even really going to help you much. That padding you got there.
well, we just got new padding for inside the ring, thank God.
Is it better now?
Inside the ring, it's better. The outside's the same, but
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
And is this ring 16 foot?
Yes, way
Yeah.
bigger than your ring.
We have a 16-foot ring.
Well, the ring, I know you guys
Yeah, we also have a 14. You're right. Yeah.
shows, yeah.
Yeah.
The one you
So
do at the bigger shows is the 16-foot, right, Ricky?
Yeah, we actually on the last show we used the 16-foot again for the first time in a while. I don't know if Nathan's trying to break into it for when we go to Malone because we haven't used it for a while, or it was just a convenience issue because I know our 14-foot's having a bit of issues with like bars breaking and stuff, which is crazy. And Nathan's kind of a little bit in denial about whether it's time to give up the ring or not because it's like his baby. But
Hernandez just tosses him around like a rag doll, and he
that's
has
insane.
smalls
that
in
hold.
there.
Yep. I mean,
That's a backbreaker. I haven't seen that move in a while.
It's the
oh
fact
yeah,
he
he
has
always
the face.
does this.
Does he?
He always does that move.
Oh, what's that? An Argentine?
He calls it a Canadian backbreaker.
Canadian. I always get the two mixed up.
Yeah.
Argentine's the torture wreck one then.
Yeah. Yeah, this was just all calling the ring right here. As a hope.
That's a great feeling when you get when you're
And
with
then
someone you can just call so simply.
Whoa!
Oh shit!
No. I hate why I went to the outside. You'll see why. Yeah, the outside was not good. That was not a good place to go.
Oh, I could be wrong. I think I know what's happening.
This hurt. This hurt.
Well, he just hit you in the thigh, though.
No.
Nope.
Not thigh.
Like, I guess I didn't look at it
A
close.
little bit over from the
No,
thigh.
that angle does not. The angle that guy over there, the announcer over there, he actually has he posted it. I posted on my story before. He has the perfect angle. When Hernandez did that, that hurt like hell. That hurt.
You know, I used to
That
drop
was
it. I would drop a knee in that situation, but I never touched anybody. But I made it look like I did.
No, that hurt though. I mean, that he actually hit me in the balls. Yes, that
Yeah.
hurt.
It doesn't take much either. So, you know, just a tap is gonna hurt.
We
Yeah.
did a practice one time where it was the guy pops up like for a power bomb, but instead he goes over. The guy swings his leg out, and you just land on his leg. We did that like 30 times on practice. That hurt.
Yeah.
I'd rather get thrown around.
You know, I was a baby face, but when I do that knee to the nuts thing, fans loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did.
Well, I'm a kid, and he's like the bully type heel right here, so it
Yeah.
worked. That's why on some of these kicks, like later after this video, you're gonna see me throw like kicks to the head because I was in the moment, just
Yeah.
kick the crap. And I get told, hit these guys as hard as you want. You're small. You're just a kid. You need to make it look real. Hit him as hard as you want. Plus, yeah, you'll see like not kicks, but this was funny. Stomp and then
How many
there
people
was
would you say are in attendance, if you had to guess?
like 60, 70.
Kind of like one of your shows at the dojo, huh, Ricky?
Yeah, we've around about 60 odds.
Yeah.
Tonight there should be a lot of people. Like usually the shows that aren't student shows we get a lot more. Depends if the place advertises it, like flyers around. Like this place
Right.
we're coming up gets a lot of people.
Oh.
Yeah. Wish I had my shirt on.
Oh, right on the face.
Yeah, that was a smack. I was in the moment. Most of these I'm just in the moment. And then that was
Oh, nice.
yeah, that was cool. And then
From
here
the
I was
middle of the rope too, where it's real springy, not easy to do.
yeah, here I was blown up here. So I was doing crowd, but really I was just getting my breath. Because I was tired right here.
I mean, that's a smart way to work.
Yeah. Like usually I would do 2 feet. That's how tired I was. I just kicked him with the 1.
Bench press.
Yeah, there's the whistles.
Yep, I'm hearing them.
I can hear them. It's hard to miss.
Ah,
So as you can see, I don't know if you noticed, Miles, but I fixed up your like everything's stable, everything's.
Yeah.
Remember before I was all over the place, kind of shaking. I used a
Yeah.
little warp stabilizer to smooth this out. And
You're
I
get-
got rid of the cropping. I cropped it so it looks good.
I wish they got the ending part. I'll tell you once this ends. It was so funny. So here, that was the first time I've ever done that in the match. Was the going to the outside like that. So then here, my music is playing. I drop to my knees. I get back. My music is playing. He's turned around. I'm just YMC. And then he turns around, pulls his belt off. And then he gets to the back. All you hear is boom, boom, boom. It was funny.
Jesus. CPS chants.
Not this time. Yeah,
And
right here.
This is a
my
singles match now, right?
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
my first time ever coming out to the YMCA as a face.
Okay.
I've done it before where they had me come out to YMCA as a heel. I just said no YMCA, none of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was first time as a face coming out to it. Oh, it's funny. So, right here, in his promos, he's like, don't tell him shave my legs, none of that. So then, usually, all you have to do to get his heel heat is just shave your legs. It's so easy. It's so easy. They call him Ewok, Chewbacca. Like, it's funny.
That's brutal.
Who's filming this, by the way?
Probably my dad, I believe.
Your dad? Okay, so he's just on his phone or something.
No, my mom.
Or your mom?
Yeah, all these videos came from her.
Okay.
Because I get them on my phone, and then she does it on her separate phone in case like anything like this podcast.
One thing you might want to have her do, I noticed, she's got auto focusing on. You can turn that off, and then you won't have that blurring in and out.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah. That'll, for future anyway, you know.
got it.
That's my video production stuff just coming out. You know, I have to.
Yeah.
If you, when you've done video as long as I have, you see those. I can see that stuff like it's I could be blind and see that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with wrestling, you like the crowd doesn't know, but you, as a wrestler, you know like the mess ups or not.
Yeah. Oh, so Dirty Pretty says roughly 60 to 70 at the student shows is what the crowd is here. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And then, I see Nicholas Watler. He's a regular. Hey, Nicholas, good to see you.
Oh,
Thanks for tuning in. We're with Officer Smiles watching some of his matches right now. Canary's here without the NWF Forward shirt on. Slapped him up.
nope.
This was
Sorry, I forgot to represent today. Let me see if I can have it here. I have all my shirts down here, but the much times that I get shirts for wrestling really frustrates me because it comes to the point where it's just difficult. Like there's a Pure Filth shirt, just sitting here. Let me see if I can actually get this out.
So I imagine Hernandez gives you some training techniques that then Perez can give you some that are like
yeah.
you learn different things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That body slam, it was like I knew it would be bad, but it wasn't as bad as I intended to be. I thought it was gonna be worse.
Canary, you're due for a haircut, dude.
What?
You're due for a haircut, man.
No, I just go heavy at the front. My back, like the back and sides are fine.
Like Smiles is getting the mullet going. You've got the big bangs going.
Yeah. And you've got balding going.
You're just jealous because bald is so beautiful.
I mean, if you're into Will Smith's wife, go for it.
Well, at least you got slammed on the padding,
Yeah. Good thing.
but still doesn't feel good when you're on the
Oh
concrete.
yeah. So during that, he was telling me smack the mat. I'm like, how do I smack? Because I'm so used to this, and I got told just here, like shorter. It's weird to explain, but
Look at here, we got Clark Kent changing into Superman here.
Pure Filth.
Why would you be wearing a Pure Filth shirt?
Because I represent. And I know that the ultimate opposition to Day Gorgeous is Pure Filth, so, I'll just represent why we're doing this. So is this still at the
Really
training
getting
place?
into it. Yeah, looks like it, right? Training facility still?
yes,
Yeah. Perfect.
both my my top matches are from the student show. There's one good one from Houston, but yeah, most of the good ones are from the student show.
Would you say that's because of like a confidence thing?
No, because the people I'm working with, like my coaches, I trust them with my life in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's easy. Like me and him, there was one point where he didn't know, so he just trusted me to call his stuff. Like me and Hernandez, we gel together well in the ring. Me and Spectre, we gel. Just everything. It's easy to work with the coaches because we know each other, what we can both do.
Now, Smiles, I know that Canary's worked with total strangers. Have you ever had to go into a match against somebody you've just never had a chance
Yeah.
to ever work with? How's it go
Yeah.
for you in those situations?
We've had guys from England actually come over here. Yeah, they did a seminar like 2 weeks ago.
Are they
I
from-
faced them. They had a guy who's refed. Their company is WAW.
WAW the Knights, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hernandez goes there every once in a while, so they brought their guys over here.
Who did you guys have over? Like, who
Joe
were you
Bell. We had Joe Bell, Elise, and Sir Ryan. Like maybe 6, 7, maybe 8 months ago, and then recently we had Joe Bell and Scotty Edgar. He's like their top. He helps train the refs there.
Okay.
Yeah. Scotty Edgar, he refed my first match ever. That was cool.
That's so sick.
That was
So
at the point where sorry, but at the
no,
point where he like my first match, he was like, "Yes, this kid's got it." The first match I ever had.
well, that's what you want to hear. Like
Yeah,
it's a good first match. I think is a really like good way to pave the way for yourself. I obviously like. I'm sure you probably heard this as well, but on the build, or people were just more confident in you than they were me. But I remember a thing I heard a lot in the build up to my debut was, "It's okay if you make mistakes. It's your debut.
yeah,
Don't worry about it. It's your debut." And you hear that a lot. And
yeah,
looking back on it, I'm so happy that I didn't have to worry about that. Like I did make a mistake, but I'm so happy that the match didn't end up being bad because a bad debut, I think, can really ruin people's confidence in general.
yeah,
And it's very rare that we have bad debuts, but like the only time I remember someone having a really like rough debut in our place, like he didn't end up getting another match for another like 8 months because
damn.
his confidence was terrible after that.
Mhm.
So a good debut is really important, and then to have someone who's been in the business as long as Edgar, like it's really good to get that sort of praise.
Yeah.
You like doing that move a lot, I
It's
noticed.
a nasty insult, to be fair.
That kick right there, that's where I kick the crap out of him. Like, I was intense. During the back, he goes, "God, those kicks, you kicked me hard." I mean, but before we did the cross body when we were up there, he smacked me. Like, you're going to see, he smacks me, like, good. It hurt.
Yeah, kicks are fun to lay in, but those indies are nasty. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like right there, like
Yep. And then
that's
right
what you
here.
want. You want it to
Missile
look good,
drop
like.
kick from the top rope.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I think, and the way you did it there at the back bump is the way
Yeah.
to do that one. It doesn't
Yeah.
look as nice when you do a side drop kick off the top.
Yeah,
I think the back
tried that.
drop.
Yeah, I tried that. I saw on, I think it was in my last one we did, but also on Carter's. I saw it on there. I'm like, God, that does not look good.
I know personally, I'm not for doing a top rope move that involves me having to take any sort of crazy top rope bump unless it's meant to be a bumping move. Like I don't want to hit a bit of
That was a
offense.
slap. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm just processing.
yeah.
That was brutal. Anyway, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of hitting like a top rope missile drop kick or top rope drop kick in general because I'd rather my offense not take a lot out of myself. But I remember one time, me and Nathan were having a whole debate before training about people, for lack of a better term, bitching out of certain spots. And he goes, "Name a spot that people bitch out of." And I go, "Well, why does everyone bitch out of top rope drop kick when you tell them to do it?" And he goes, "Do it then, do it then." So we sat there before training, and I will never do it again. But he said it was good, and I hit a top rope drop kick, and I will never hit it again. It didn't hurt, but I'm not doing it again. I just did it to make a point. Oh, sliced bread.
Nope.
Oh,
The one I always struggled with, and it took me a long time until I could actually get it down, was getting slammed off the top rope, as simple as it is. But it's just, taking that bump from,
Like the flare
all the way
bump?
across. Yeah, the flare slam. Yep.
yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the suplex from the top.
Well, that one can be too, superplex, but
Yeah.
no,
The
I
first-
mean, the slam though, just the regular slam, you just got to get, once you get comfortable with it, and then it's fine. I
I
remember.
struggled with that too, to be fair. I remember my first time attempting that. It wasn't great. You just repress memory there. I completely forgot about my attempts of that at the start. I was awful at that. I'd be more confident now.
I think everybody is when
Nice
they
bread.
first start doing it,
Underdog. Oh!
because they just got to get comfortable with it. And then once you're comfortable with it, it's fine.
That was a sick finish. It was kind of like a mix of sliced bread and then Drake Maverick's move.
Yeah.
Like I remember his old underdog.
All
I
right,
think
now
he called
we've
it.
kind of we've went to the beginning again. Sorry, you guys, I had it on loop, but yeah. So that was the footage
Oh,
of Smalls, and I don't know. I was pretty impressed with all of that, and you got some wins in there as well. I noticed. I know because when we were
Finally.
talking to Cade or Smalls, and I was saying, we want a guy to come on again. You're like, well, let's do it a little bit later on in March because I want to get some more matches built up for this. You
Yep.
wanted to have some better stuff to show us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, that top rope, like you're saying.
The
So
top rope bumps.
I think the first time I did that, it was in this. We were in like a backyard where this rinks. The padding was this thin, like it was bad,
Ah,
and it would always slide. We would tape it together, everything. It would always slide, so there would be
Yeah.
wood spots in the middle all the time. We we did it. I hated taking bumps in there.
How thick was the padding? Did you say?
This thin.
Like a half inch.
that's insane.
Yeah, it was.
Our big
That's
20-footer that we had this. The guys who we bought it from, they had fiberglass sheet padding, which sucked. It wasn't even squishy. It was just a
that's
membrane. And that's what we had. And we used it for a while, and then we're like, let's get some regular padding on this damn thing, because that's like bumping on plywood, really.
it's funny you mention that because we use it still sometimes, but we add extra padding. But that's the exact kind of padding we have. We have fiberglass kind of padding, and I remember when I first started, it was the only bit of padding we had on the ring. It was that thin, like purple. We call it the purple shit. It was this little thin purple shit, just plastered over the ring in like a little thin line, and it used to hurt like crazy. So now when people come to the ring, like again, jokes aside, but Ben, for example, never had to put up with that. So now, anytime if I hear anybody who wasn't in the fiberglass era of us bumping complain about the ring, part of me goes, and I still do it. I'll still go, the ring sucks a bit today. But in my head, I'm like, you don't know. You don't know what real pain is. You haven't
Right.
been in that ring.
Well,
And
just taking bumps on the side of the ring or the corners. Same
Oh,
thing.
there another ring that hurt like crazy was Marty Jones's ring. I know you had Marty Jones on with Keaton recently, and honestly, his ring, I've only been in it once, but oh my god, it was brutal. It's like really low to the floor because he does it in like a really small
So he has like a
kind of like
lobby,
bingo-ish hall, like community hall kind of thing, like a really low ceiling. So he
or
has
like
a
a low boy, or whatever they call him.
yeah, so he has
oh
a
yeah.
load of ground, and
Yeah.
if you've been in a load of ground ring, worst thing you can ever be in. Oh, it's bad. It is so painful. Like I love Marty and I love wrestling. Like I love like going to his place and I can't wait to get back again in the future. But that experience was painful, that ring. And then a dude broke his hand in our match by punching him out. So there you go. It just shows how hard. Wish I was joking. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna. I probably told this story before. I'm just sidetracked, but we were doing a spot and the guy was really new, but he was such a nice guy. He was pretty decent as well. But we were going to do a spot where I go for the sunset and he goes to punch me. I move my head. He goes to punch me again. I move my
Yeah.
head. Goes to the jump and then takes the ass bump. And he throws the punch. And obviously I'm just going with it and I'm selling. And after the ass bump, I was meant to hit my comeback and I turn. And I'm like, he's still selling. Oh no, I was meant to go in for something. He's going to cut me off. He eventually cuts me off and he told me he was going to hit a springboard drop kick. I'm like, okay. So I feed for it. He just didn't do it. He just closed him again. I'm like, something's up. I don't know. So I go on with the match and then I get backstage and he comes back and he's like, oh, my hand. Like he had like ice on it, like all the guys around him. And I was like, honestly, hate to say it, wasn't me. It wasn't part of that. Maybe my spot idea. Didn't tell you to punch him out hard. The guy's a
Well,
great guy though. I really hope he's still at it. I haven't heard from him.
I mean, I'm sure. I'm sure he broke his hand, or I'm sure he hurt it for sure. But like guys like Kelsey, remember when I told you, that drop kick I showed you, Ricky, that's really nice looking, but I get him close to the chin, and I said Matt always claimed I dislocated his jaw years later, but I never heard that at the time. But now, 15 or 20 years later, his jaw got dislocated. I'm kind of wondering, did it really get dislocated, or is that just a
Are
good
you
talking
sure?
point? Yeah.
That's what that's what all the boys like to say to Ben. Ben's one of the more injury-prone guys we have, and it's so. I really feel bad for him, so I don't do it as much. But Nathan loves to give Ben stick. If Ben ever gets some sort of small injury, like obviously Ben has a history of knee injuries, and
Yeah.
there was one was me and Ben run the spot, and he thought his knee popped out. It didn't, but he thought his knee popped out, so he had a full panic attack, like jumped on the floor, like rolling around on the floor, going, "It's out, it's out, it's out, it's out!" Like just screaming, like shit, like shouting.
I
It's fine.
hope he stays healthy till June 1st. I'd hate to have to like fly Smiles over to take his place.
Yeah, I would hate that too. I'm looking for an easier enough match. Like, Smalls is talented. I believe my abilities against Smalls still, but Ben Nelson
Oh,
and Smalls, two different levels.
every time
You mean
like
figuratively or literally?
That was uncalled for. Come on, we're not going to bring up height here.
every time during like Carter's or Hillbillies podcast, I remember every time I see me like do a gut shot to them or a chop, I always see this reaction all the time. And it's funny to watch.
It's because me personally, I hate a chop. I hate chop so much. Worst feeling on the planet.
You just don't like the
I
shock of
wouldn't.
it.
If someone tells me I'm going to do a chop, I don't go, no, not tonight, bro. I just say, okay. And in my head, I'm like, oh. So
Well, see,
that's
yeah,
why.
but you're pretty much no shirt, right? So, because I had the singlet, and the singlet kind of, I didn't always get the full chop with the
Are you
singlet.
saying for me?
Yeah, because you always
Yeah,
have a shirt off.
I've never.
Yeah.
Well, my first like 2 to 3. I think my first 2 matches I wrestled with a shirt on, because Nathan was like a bit cautious about because I was 14. He was like
Yeah.
a bit cautious about
Yeah.
having a 14-year-old shirtless, and then I just showed up shirtless one day and he didn't say anything, so I just kept doing it. And now I kind of regret it because of the comments on some YouTube videos. Really weird people.
Because you get
But
the weirdos.
yeah. By the way, if you guys are watching this, stop, please. But no,
Well,
the
no,
point
I
I'm
don't
making
mind
is
them watching it,
yeah,
but if you say
when
anything
I
stupid, I'm gonna hide it. So
when I no,
Yeah.
yeah, no. But what I'm saying is, yeah, when I watch you Smalls and I see you hitting those chops and those gut kicks, and I think we had I think it was Carter who said it. He was like, "Yes, Smalls lays it in on you," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, you
Oh,
think?" It's like, "Huh? You don't say." I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, "This kid froze," and you need to. I love it because
oh,
jokes aside, obviously, you're smaller than almost everyone else who you're going to be up against. So you need to
mm-hmm.
throw 10 times harder to put yourself on their level. Like when I watched you against Hernandez, yes, I could see it was an uphill battle for you because especially because Hernandez isn't soft either. Like he's gonna lay that stuff in. But the fact is, you were hitting those insies, you were
Oh,
hitting those strikes, you were hitting that cannonball and stuff. Like you weren't going easy when you got your offense. You made the most out of it, which showed like that bit of fight, that bit of desire, like the idea of like a lone wolf, like who's like injured, trying to fight off a bear. You know, you're not giving up. You're fighting with every bit of energy you have, like, and that kind of intensity is what's going to get the audience to go, I want this guy to win. He's not giving up. He's not going light. Like he's putting everything into beating this 6'2" guy. Like,
it's monster.
yeah, it creates that idea. David versus Goliath, like one of the best
Mhm.
stories ever. Now you're growing out your hair and everything. It's match made in heaven. Perfect.
oh. I love doing the walk the rope just because of the chop, the overhand.
All for the
Well,
chop. And
Don't
then
you
you get to
usually
do
do
the
the
whistle
walk
walk.
the rope and then you do that little lucha libre? I don't even know what it's
drag.
called. The
I
arm
do like
drag.
an arm
Yeah.
drag out of it. I can do a Rana like you saw earlier. I've done some other stuff out of it before. Oh, I've done a hip toss out of it. Like
So
you
like
land,
land it.
yeah, you land and
Landed hip
immediately
toss?
hip toss the guy.
That's
Yeah.
smooth. Innovative. That's one thing I like when a wrestler has something innovative, because I always say to the boys, and like John, that was a big thing I give to John, because remember John asked me like a year ago, he's like, lad, what do you think like is the reason that I'm not getting as much opportunities, like from your perspective? And I said to him, I was like, you have the same issue everyone does. No one innovates anymore. No one tries to be creative. Like I struggle myself to be super creative with my in-ring move because you feel like almost everything's been done.
Yeah.
So when you have someone who can do something a little bit different or a little bit innovative and invent, change, the wheel, it's really, really impressive in modern wrestling, because it's very hard to think. It's all about creativity to be different.
Oh, yeah. Funny with that. So after matches, so like I go to Houston, I go like anywhere in Texas, and they don't if the wrestlers don't know who I am, they after the match, they see what I do, they're like, "Oh," and then they immediately go up to me, "Hey, you did good in that." And I'm over here like, but when I walk in, all you do is shake my hand and then go talk to the people.
It's
Yeah, Canary, you brought that up. Like last show, you were saying like
Mhm.
the two 17-year-olds get looked at differently than the rest of the guys.
it's yeah, and that's what I love about doing this podcast, because people I can relate to. I'm sure you get this all the time, Smalls. Like when you walk in the door, nobody is showing you any. They're not being disrespectful, but they don't take you as serious until you go
Yeah.
out there and have a match. Like,
Yep.
and that was a wake up call for me. Like, because if you look at my matches from this time last year, like, I'm not going to act like I was awful, but I wasn't laying at my stuff as much. And now I get people complaining because I lay in. And like, we had a guy over from Pro Wrestling Noah, LJ Cleary, doing a seminar, and he had to actually ask the guy I was with if what I was doing was hurting him because it looked brutal. He said, and the guy was like, "It didn't hurt," and that's what it was. Intensity is what will make people wake up, and that's what causes people, like you were saying, to go, "Damn, that was a good match," and like,
Mhm.
oh my god, that was unbelievable. And that's why I love going to places like Portugal's a great place. Honestly, I'd recommend you should go sometime. You would fit in perfectly because you're very interactive with the crowds, and you clearly love a bar crowd, and that's what they're all about. But when I went to Portugal, that's one thing I like about not just the wrestlers there, but like the people. They treat everyone with a lot of respect, and they don't look at age; they look at experience and ability. So when I go there, like the promoter pulls me aside and talks to me like I'm a veteran. I've been doing this 3, almost 4 years, and he talks to me like I'm a veteran. Like he'll be like, I remember the last show, he had me in a tag match, multi-man tag match. It was like me, John, a couple of our guys against loads of their guys and Ben. And all their guys, it was like their first or second match. And I remember he put me aside. He's like, I'm putting you in this match because like I need experience in this match. He's like, you and John lead this. Like I these guys are really new. And after that conversation, I was like, because remember beforehand, I wasn't angry, but I was like, it's weird that people like DD Crooks, when we go to Portugal, gets title matches, and I just get put in like random places on the cars. Like I wonder, but then after that conversation, I was like, that's what he sees. He wants me in with the newer guys to help them, get up, and that's a great position to be in. And that's why I'm very happy that I got to that point in Portugal, and I want to keep getting to that point where people realize age isn't a thing. Like when it comes to ability,
Right. It's funny you
Yeah.
bring that up because like when I had Brian Zane on, um, and he asked me back when he interviewed me, he said, back when he learned about our Untold Story documentary, and he's like, he asked me when I started working for Sharky, did I get a lot of side glances from the other guys, because I was young and everything like you guys are talking about. And the funny thing is, I didn't at all. All those guys, first of all, they knew me. See, I hung around with them when they were training because I was training with Eddie at the same time. So it's like they all knew me. So it's like once they start to know who you are,
Yeah.
all that goes away.
Yeah.
And
100%.
so, yeah, because they know you and everything. So when I'd go into the locker room, nobody ever gave me any kind of side glances like, oh, this is some young kid. What's he doing here? I didn't get
Oh,
any of
like
that.
I went to TNA. It was like the first time I went, it was like four kids there, and we went to the back. This guy sees us. He's like, "Hey, no kids, no kids." Like to get lunch and stuff. He's like, "No kids in the back, no kids in the back."
Right? Not realizing you're part of the crew.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, no, but even though our coach Eric, he told them no, they're with us. He said no, they still have to get out. They still have to get out.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so now I just flyer help these guys, but don't go to the shows, which it's fine. I think it's easier now because there's a guy David Valdez, Frito Rosario Rodriguez, and Eric Perez, my coach. They're actually in they're helping TNA right now actually with merch and all of that.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
that's
they're
so
over there
sick.
helping them.
Is that like as we speak? That's what they're doing right now.
Yes, right. Yeah, right now.
Is it explosion tapings tonight, or is it
It's
um
just tapings, I think. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
they're doing
tapings.
that's so cool. And that's a really good link you have, by the way. Like I noticed that. Like you guys got, was it the Hardys over, and you got
Oh,
Nick
yeah,
Nemeth and stuff. Like
that was
they're
cool.
amazing minds, and you're already learning under Sean Hernandez. Like if you
Mhm.
keep this up with the ability you're going at, like your X division mate, like it's a path. It's a clear path straight there.
I
And
have these guys from TV. Like they see my coach Sean Hernandez. They see him post something, and they comment like, "Oh, cool!" And I see that I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool." These guys from TV see this and they think it's really cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, and
exactly.
so like what now? How old are you now, Smalls? Is it 14 or 15?
14.
You're still
14.
14. I keep thinking you're
Yep.
15. Yeah. No,
That's
you're
No, I'm
insane.
14.
about to turn 15 in May.
Okay. So, and you've been doing this for how many years then?
Like a year, almost 2 years.
Almost two.
I started in summer. If we count the kids camp in that, 2 years. But if we count like first time going to adult training, I started like September, I think.
And how often do you train?
3 times a week every month.
So 3 times a week. And Canary, is that all it is for you guys too? 3 times a week?
Yeah, we have 3 classes a week. Nowadays, just with right now, I'm obviously starting to learn to drive, and
Oh, good Lord.
yeah, I know it's not great, and we're all manual over here.
Oh, you really don't have automatics?
Well, we have automatic. It's just rare to come across.
Really?
And
I
yeah.
learned on a stick, so I mean, I get it, but
yeah, so
Carter just learned how to drive.
you're what?
Carter, let's learn how to drive too.
Carter just got a
Carter?
car. He's driving now.
Perfect. So Smalls can pull him over. It's amazing.
Oh,
But-
I don't trust him to drive me yet.
So you have your learner. I'm taking it you have your learner's permit then?
Me?
Yeah.
Yep. You know what? I'll give the people the entertainment of seeing my driver license photo. I don't think it's that bad. It just looks really sad. Like most of my photos, I'm quite a.
Well, you've
positive
seen my
looking guy.
picture on my new license. I can't stand driver's license pictures when I get them. Yeah, you look like you're 12. Jesus.
That's what people tell me. I
Now, that's a
naturally-
compliment, Ricky. Believe me, when you get older, you'll appreciate comments like that.
Oh, I
Yeah,
will.
like
Yeah, I
that.
know.
Like Daniel LaRusso.
Yeah,
that
he
guy's
doesn't
scary.
age.
Yeah.
That guy's
He does not
scary.
age. Him and Johnny.
Yep.
To bring it back to a wrestling sense, have you seen Billy Gunn these days?
Badass Billy Gunn?
Oh,
Yeah, he's like 60 something, and schmuck, you should see the size of that dude. He
My
is
coach-
shredded.
My coach, Hernandez. So they did a match one time in TNA. Billy Gunn drop kicked him in the throat. So like that's how like his voice is all messed up now. Hernandez.
Really?
Yeah.
That's because of that happening?
Yeah, because Billy Gunn drop kicked him on the throat. On
I
accident.
didn't
obviously.
ever think his voice was messed up.
Well, he used to have like a southern Mississippi accent. Now it's
Okay.
like all old and raspy.
Like raspy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, like I was saying though, I think that would be very interesting if we ever, of course, we're talking down the line. This could be it, but I know you'll be at it for a while, Smalls, and then maybe someday we bring in whoever has that NWF belt, and we see if Smalls can't get a crack at it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I know Ben Nelson. Again, pardon my language, is the biggest pussy on the face of this earth. So I know Ben Nelson only takes easy opponents. That's why he talks about the idea of facing Schmucker Cross, and he wants to beat up old man.
Okay, wait a
But
minute. No,
don't worry.
back up one
When-
minute here.
when-
Back
you
up one
you
minute
can
here.
talk
I
when
don't
it's
want to
your turn
hear
to
this
talk,
Schmucker
co-host.
Crossing. That is Crusher Crossing, not Schmucker.
Sorry.
Yes.
Ben Nelson talks about facing pensioner crossing, and that's why I'm not like that. I want to face people in their prime. I want to bring the best competition. That's why I would be the best champion, and I will be the best champion when I beat Ben Nelson. I will get that championship, put glory on its name, because I'll tell you what, it's an amazing championship, but the fact that someone like pensioner crossing over here has held it kind of ruins the prestige of it. So when I hold it and I'm defending it against the best of the best, like Mitch the Kid, CC Carter, Officer Smalls, I'm putting it against all of them. That's when people will start realizing what the NWF is really about, and that's pure talent and hard-hitting action.
You got a lot of talk.
I can talk the talk, walk the walk, and kick your ass all day.
And I know I'm looking at Smalls and he's thinking the same thing I am. Bring it. But I'm not in this. I'm just refereeing.
Thank God.
I'm not in this fight. But I will. You shove me, I'm going to shove you back. So just remember, law and order. Officer Smalls knows about law and order, and so do I when I'm the referee. So there's that.
Well, all I'm going to say is, see, when you're trying to count, please don't forget what comes after 2. And please have a strong enough knees on you to be able to get down and make a count. All right? So maybe try doing some exercise on that, because I know you struggle to, get up from your chair and walk down the
Well,
stairs. And
Make sure you work on your accent so I understand it when you give up too, if he gets you in a submission.
yeah, no problem. Like, I'll have Ben in a submission. He's tapping. I'll be like, he's tapping, ref. He's tapping. I promise. Will that be easier to
Now,
understand?
do I
for you?
sound, Smalls, I'm going to ask Smalls, do I sound like that, what he just did? Hell no. Hell no.
Smalls is just a nice guy. He's a police officer. You know, he's
Oh, I do the
respectable.
same thing with. We have a referee that's old. I do the same thing with him.
Yeah, see, it's
I make
not
fun of
it's not
his age.
voice.
Yeah, you can give me all the old age jokes you want, but the fact is, old or young, I'm the one that's going to decide who gets that belt in a sense, because I'm the one that will make the 3 count.
Well, you don't get a choice because if you're a down the middle type of referee, a stand up guy referee, you're not gonna choose who wins. You're just gonna make it official who wins. So
Are you questioning my integrity?
I am indeed questioning your integrity. I'm questioning your ability to even remember when your flight is
Hey, here's a
over to
comment.
glorious Ireland. You know.
Yeah, I got, just so everybody knows, my reservations are made. You know, I hate to say it, but I don't even want to say it this way, but because of all the airline tragedies, the airfares come down. So it's
Oh yeah.
I got my ticket at a pretty good price.
Who you flying with?
Delta.
Okay, I don't know American Airlines.
Yeah, they fly into Dublin there though. So, but so a comment here from Dirty Pretty. He says Sean wants to know why you're telling his business. I think that's for you, Smalls.
Why not?
So maybe that might be some payback in the ring coming up. Who knows? In the next match when you have with him, huh?
Dang it.
So, but yeah. So I mean, I'm really excited. I can't wait to see who gets this belt. I'm just glad the belt is going to be put into it again. You know, it's like, you know, Jamie said it pretty good last week. He goes, you know, this was the original kind of junior championship, really, and so for it to kind of come back in the fold to that respect to what I like to call the new era of wrestling, which is you guys, it just makes sense. So
Yeah, and it's a fast moving, you know, era. It's like it's hard to keep up with, of course, especially for someone like Ben Nelson. Because Ben Nelson, here, I'll tell you this, Ben Nelson is still living in the 80s. He is rocking the ugliest mullet I have ever seen someone have. And there's people who can rock a good mullet. Like, look at Mitch the Kid, for example. That guy can rock a mullet.
Well, you seem
But
to have a
people like Ben
love
Nelson-
affair with Mitch the Kid, I guess.
What would
Let's
make you
get him
interpret
back
that?
on here again.
So I
Now,
can't
Smalls, let me ask you, who do you think out of Ben and Ricky, who would you, if you had to guess, who would you say would win that match?
Canary Kid, just because of the experience.
You heard it here first,
Well,
folks.
I can't
Officer
give an
Smalls.
opinion because I'm the ref. I would be
Yeah, I didn't
The
say who I
best-
would want to win. I said who I think. Big
Ah.
The
difference.
best mind in the business. He knows his stuff. Second best, actually. I'm in this, of course. But one of the best minds in the business has said it himself. Trained by Hernandez, a guy who looked up to me in my early days in the business. And he has said it here first. The Canary Kid will indeed defeat Ben Nelson for the simple reason that Ben Nelson sucks. You heard it from Smalls.
Well, you know what it is? Canary Kid likes getting beat up. So that's why he talks about Hernandez. That's why he talks about me and everybody else. He wants to get his tail kicked.
I don't. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm sure Smalls. I'm sure Hernandez has told you our stories of us too. You know, cruising the roads. You know, back in our day. You know, I remember he was just a little squirt. You know, he's just a little guy, but yay high. And I remember he was a handful, but you know, I kept him under control. Honestly, good kid. He had a lot of heart, and I'm glad he made it somewhere in the business. He's doing well for himself. Good to see people progress.
I don't know, Smalls, but someday maybe we'll see that. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. That's why we always got to stay tuned.
And that's what's great about NWF, you know.
I never thought we'd see this belt really come into the fold again, but I'm glad it is. And I'll tell you something, this belt is heavy as heck. You know, back in the day, I had a habit of taking the belt and using it as an object and whipping people or whatever. I would not want to do that with this proper belt now because it is heavy as hell, and you'd knock somebody out if you did that. The way I used to swing this thing around back in the day. But yeah, belt would become a foreign object. And Steve used to get so mad at me because when I'd whip people with this thing, I'd whip them like whip. And I'd whip them, parts of the belt would go flying off, you know, like little emblems and stuff. And then I hear it from him in the locker room, stop doing that, because he'd have to fix it. So, yeah. But that was the one thing that Eddie Sharkey gave us a big compliment on when he first seen that that blue belt. He's like, how do you do this? Because back in those days, guys, you couldn't get belts like you can today. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
there's
was
a belt maker
hard to come
everywhere.
by. What's that?
I said there's belt makers everywhere, and
Yeah, nowadays, yeah.
one thing that frustrates me, and I don't know what sort of people watch this, and if you're a promoter, please take this advice. If you want to get a championship, make it look good at least, like somewhat decent. See, the next time I see a promotion with boxing belt championships, I'm gonna lose my
I mean, with
mind.
like the fluffy
Like
Rocky style.
they're really like thin, like tiny little plate on it, like little circle, and then just like that. And I'm like, it doesn't look like a championship. Like a belt I would wear to hold up my trousers looks more prestigious than that. Like, please, honestly, do a little bit better, okay? Because it looks like a 1970s women's championship, like where they didn't really care and just kind of threw something together. Like that's what it looks like.
Speaking of his belt and his trousers smells, I said I'm going to come over there and I'm going to get maybe I'll get one of your championships and one of your belts. And Ricky goes, the only belt you're going to get is the belt off my trousers, whooping your ass. So he says. A lot of talk from the Canary Kid, right?
Well, it's in the name, Canary. I'm singing like a canary here, and I am just telling the people the truth, and that's why these people love me. And that's why Officer Smalls loves me and knows I'm going to beat Ben Nelson, right? That's why his coach, Little Herney, as I used to call him, looked up to me.
You want to know what I think? I can't I can't tell you who I think's going to win because I got to be impartial. I can't do that. I'm the ref. But I'm going to say this. I think you're worried, Canary. I see the look of worry on your face with this Ben Nelson business.
Worry?
So I do.
Right.
I think you're concerned.
Maybe unfog your glasses or get a new prescription, old man. Because I'll tell you right now, this ain't a face of worry. This is a face of pre-success. And pre-success is a feeling I get every time I go into a championship match. The same way I'm going to take Paulo Triasi's Commonwealth Championship next month, I will take Ben Nelson's opportunity to become
So
the
I
NWF
was going to ask,
Championship.
is that a title match coming up?
Indeed, and you're gonna have Birdie two belts over here, one on each shoulder, leveling it out, and then of course, not just things on each shoulder, but this entire damn podcast on my back, baby. It's gonna be even all over, and I just love it. May as well call me Even Steven as well because everything is leveled out perfectly.
You know, if he could wrestle as good as he talks, maybe he could win this title. I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll
I'm
have
just
to
saying
see.
this, folks. Place your bets. You know what? Put all the money you can. All right. Put everything you have on black.
As we're starting to
and
come up
that's
to
me.
the end of the show, I do want to come to like our screen here of what's coming up. So to remind everybody what's coming up on the shows and everything. Well, first of all, I just want to, as we've been talking about here, I want to remind everybody, the 40th anniversary championship match. That's what we've been talking about. I'm really excited for this. It's going to be it's just going to be cool to see, I got to say. And I know I've been on Canary's back a lot, and I'm going to kind of try to start taking more of a middle of the road view on this now. I'm not going to get on him so much. But we'll see what happens. But should be a great match, so that'll be good. Now, what we got coming up on our shows, we've got, let's see, what's first? I think, well, this was going to happen on Sunday with Keaton, but Patrick Patterson, but he's got a match or something he's got to do now Sunday, so he can't make it. So he's going to come on a Tuesday show now instead. So he'll be with Keaton on Tuesday, I believe, this week coming up. So, I'm not familiar with Patrick Patterson. Do you guys know who this is?
Yeah, I know, Alex.
I've seen him actually wrestle one of the England guys that came here.
Yeah.
I think I might be wrong, but I think he wrestles, he's wrestled for a WAW before.
Yeah. Alex actually used to train with us for about 3 years. Yeah. Alex went to WAW recently, and yeah, that's where he kind of stays right now. He goes between WAW and SOS. So yeah.
So yeah, it should be a great interview. Now, on Tuesday, it's hit or miss for me because I have work during the week, so I don't know if I'll be able to make this with Keaton. If I can, I'll be on with him. Otherwise, it'll be Keaton and him for sure. And it's just not going to be Sunday like it says. It's going to be Tuesday, the following Tuesday instead. So that's what we got going on there. And then on Rewind next week with me and Dave, we should have watched this show last week, but I changed it up because Jamie was on with me, the Irish Terror. So I wanted to get a show with him. So we're going to go to this one. This is Yoho Municipal. This is actually our first show with our actual professional wrestling ring. So we're so excited with that ring. But this was the first taping with that ring. And that's a shot of me and Thander. I'll tell you guys, Thander, the Tim Holland, toughest kid in our show for damn sure. He was rough. You go on a match with him and you feel it the next day. I mean, he gives me he liked to do a flying shoulder, and he gives me a flying shoulder in this match that knocked me halfway across the ring. I didn't sell it. I didn't act. I just got knocked halfway across. Like when you get thrown by Hernandez, Smiles, I just got tossed on the other side of the ring. He was a rough customer, but he would respect you though too. If you go, he's the kind of guy. These kind of guys, they want you to be rough too, and then you get respect when it's done. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's how he was. So that'll be a good show. And then our next show with me and Ricky, we've got from Pure Pro Wrestling Global Flyer Drake, and that's going to be 2 weeks from today. He's a very good, talented young man here. I've seen some of his recent matches, and he's really, really coming along. Been at it about 4 or 5 years now, I think. So this should be a great, he started out in the junior training and everything with Pure Pro, and with Joe Bird training him there and stuff. So this is going to be just a great interview. And he is the current, you see that belt he's got? He's the current, I think it's the cruiserweight, the Pure Pro Cruiserweight Championship, I think they call it. So yeah, I believe he still has the belt. So it should be a good interview. Kind of looks like CC Carter, huh, Smalls?
Yeah.
So that's what's coming up on our future shows. So did we get to everything, Smalls? Anything else you want to talk about? So you don't know who you're wrestling tonight, right?
No, don't know. We just find out when we get there. Pretty much.
And then you're at, like I said, you're going like a 3-day bender here. So you got like tonight, you got maybe a match is tomorrow, and then as well the next day.
Yeah. All 3 days, yes.
Yeah, so busy beaver.
Yep. Busy.
Getting the bookings in. Canary, anything else?
Well, I've got an entire year planned out with NIPW at the minute, and then a couple of things hopefully coming up, maybe in Canada or something. And just been a bit of a talks going to start soon, so we'll just see what happens. But yes, I don't think I'm legally allowed to disclose the NIPW dates. I have an entire list, so I'll save them for when they get released.
Yeah, I know the dates because I have it too. Because
I have them too.
I had to pick, which one we're going to do this match with. So yeah, you guys got lots of things coming up in the works, but we'll see what happens as they get announced.
It's never been this planned before, so I'm really surprised.
Yeah, but yeah, so that'll be kind of cool stuff. And like I said, I'm looking forward to coming over there, and then I get to also spend some time with. I'll be doing like a small seminar with their junior class over there when I'm in town, and. So yeah, it'll be fun. Looking forward to it. And I'm really I've never been to Europe. So I don't know. I guess I have to dial my clock back 20 years when I go over there, right? Across the pond.
Oh yeah, it's great. You'll love it.
Meaning you guys are behind times by 20 years. Don't dial my clock back.
Yeah, I got it. Maybe does that mean when you're at Enter Island, you'll be able to get up out of bed without a couple nurses around you helping you get up and saying, "Come on."
Well, it's like my homeland. Because now that I found out that I've got Irish in my blood,
Christ.
I do have some Irish in me. It's like I'm making a homecoming, I guess you could say. Yes. All right. It's been fun though, Smalls. And so good luck with your matches tonight and everything else that you got going on over the weekend. We should have you come back on again and get an update again as time goes on.
Yeah.
Definitely have you come back in. Sure. Same with Carter. I'd like to have him come on again. And if there's anybody else up and coming, is there anybody that that's kind of up and coming and training that you?
Nah, everyone's old, pretty much.
Yeah, and I suppose when the summer comes, you'll have a new crop of.
Yeah, I mean,
potential people.
There's a kid who's this will be his 3rd time doing this summer camp, so I can see if he can get on. He's 10 10.
Yeah, young
He
guy.
did
Huh?
a match one time with us where he only had one spot, and he did a crucifix where the guy's here
Mhm.
into a DDT,
Oh yeah.
and that to me, so that was a good spot. I think he would like it.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be good. Like, what is your, if you had to pick your, well, before we sign off here, what is your favorite move like to do? What's your favorite one to do offensively, and then what's your favorite one to take?
I like. I have two for I like doing. I like doing the dive and through the ropes. I like
Okay.
doing that.
Like in the cross body onto the
Yeah,
guys? Yeah.
like straight through the
Or just
ropes.
straight through? Mhm.
Yeah, I like doing that one, and I like doing the walk the rope. It's easy. You can get the crowd into it.
I mean, that one where he just tosses you? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one that, yeah, those shoulders can be rough. That's the one Thandar would always do. He loved doing that flying. He'd do it flying, though. He'd like come off the ropes and he'd fly at you like a missile and hit you with the shoulder. Yeah. Yep. So, all right. Well, guys, I think we're about done. I think we're going to wrap it up. Thanks everybody for tuning in and chatting away, the ones that made comments. Oh, by the way, I want to make sure I acknowledge, I don't even know how to pronounce it, guys. Do you?
Ad Ab
Well,
Darazak McKenzie.
says hello. Yeah, I'll let you do that one, Ricky, because I don't want you to make fun of me when I butcher it. So there. But yeah, so I want to say hi to him. All right. So all right, guys, thanks for tuning in. And Keaton is going to be on Tuesday. I might be with him. Otherwise, I'll be back on Thursday with Dave. And I can't believe it. I'm going to kill you, Canary, when I get over there because you have turned Dave into this schmuck that I have to deal with now on Rewind. And that's all your fault.
I would just like to mention,
Yes, you.
me and Schmucker Crossen are clearly getting the shepherd and the sheep dynamic, and he is just following my lead because he's even picking up my lingo. He just used the word schmuck. It's a great moment for you, honestly. Really big moment. And what can I say? I'm an influential guy. I influence the future of wrestling. Speaking of influence, did I ever tell you guys about the influence I had on a young Sean Hernandez? I'll leave it for the next podcast, but big influence. But
I can't
anyway,
wait till
folks,
Hernandez comes on one of these times and can address that.
shh. You just keep her down, all right? But anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in to NWS Fast Forward, hosted by yours truly. And yep, I hope you all have a great night.
All right. Thanks for
Signing
tuning
off.
in, everybody.